or better sale rates, which once again, I foresee prices, average prices and median prices increasing for sellers. So to put it simply, buy right now, don't sell right now. In today's video, yet another edition of a weekly condo market update. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. Back with another video for you guys here today. Yet another edition of the weekly condo market update. Before we get into the topic of today's video, as always, you can find my contact information in the description box with regards to my Gmail, my Instagram, and my office. Feel free to get in touch with me with any questions you may have with regards to anything covered in this video, in my past videos, or if you have any general inquiries with regards to the Toronto/GTA real estate market. Lastly, feel free to subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Your support in that regard is much appreciated as always. However, obviously, you're not obliged to do so. Yet, if you enjoy my content, feel free to support with a subscription and a like. Anyways, let's get to the point of today's video, which is the Condo Weekly Market Update, edition number 12, where I go through the latest facts and trends and news items that you should know with regards to the condo market in Toronto and the GTA. Starting off, in today's video, we're going to go deeper into the condo numbers in terms of average sold price in the month of June. We'll start off by looking at downtown condo prices according to the latest TREB resale market report. For more numbers from that report having to do with all types of properties, go watch that video. But in today's video, we're going to talk more in depth with regards to the condo numbers. So starting with downtown, and downtown we're going to designate as C1 and C8. Let's take a look at the prices, where the average sold price in the month of June for C1 was $754 and in C8 was $753. And in both cases, down $40,000 to $50,000 as compared to the preceding month, which is May, obviously. CO1 in May came in at $793 and C8 in the month of May with regards to average sold price of downtown condominiums came in at $802,000. The reason actually C8 was a little bit more expensive, at least in terms of price, as compared to C1 in the month of May, is because we saw a significant amount of the buyers involved with the market shift towards C8, the eastern side of downtown Toronto, where there was more opportunity to buy larger units for a lower price. A 2-bedroom in C8 is going to run you far less than a 2-bedroom in C1. And it is a growing area, especially the further south you get. Now, both once again saw a $40,000 to $50,000 drop in average price. And if we compare these prices to last year, so we're no longer doing a month-over-month analysis, we're doing a year-over-year analysis, we see C8 holding up much stronger because, and with regards to June 2020, C8 was $731,000, whereas June 2020, C1 was actually $751,000. So in both cases, let's start with C1, the price is actually higher by $2,000. However, once again, as I've said in previous videos, $2,000, you're really at most really talking about the prices holding steady, although it's technically an increase, it's such a negligible amount where you can't really think of it as a improved and increased market in terms of average sold price. However, that does not extend to C8. C8 is not only holding steady as compared to last year, it's actually improved in prices. Where in last year, once again, $738,000, and this year we're looking at $753,000. So although it is $50,000 less than it was in May, however, in terms of June over June, so June 2021 to June 2020, it's still an increase of $25,000, give or take. I think you're going to see prices a little above or at these levels continuing into August, July, and August. However, mid-August to September, I think you will see a pickup of prices. I don't foresee, or in the fall market, prices being at these levels. So if you are an investor and for whatever reason, you and your financial advisor, or you by yourself, or you with your real estate agent have determined that downtown is the best area for your investments, right now is a better time to buy than in a couple of months down the line. On the converse, if you're a seller and you hold a downtown unit, I would not sell right now. I would wait until, once again, the fall market, where you can work with a better, much improved rental market, where there was going to be more rental demand if everything continues in the direction it has been occurring or going with regards to the worldwide event we've been dealing with. If everything continues in this positive direction, you will probably be dealing with better rental rates, and things are inching towards that direction, or better sale rates, which once again I foresee prices, average prices and median prices increasing for sellers. So to put it simply, buy right now, don't sell right now. Obviously, this is a general advice. Like, if you have to sell because you're going bankrupt or you're getting divorced, I don't know, most reasonable people hopefully watching this would understand that I'm talking about purely from the numbers perspective. I don't know what's happening in your life. Anyway, so now let's move on from looking to downtown Toronto to the city of Toronto, wherein we're actually going to break it down to Toronto East, Toronto West, and Toronto Central. Now, as we aforementioned or previously discussed, we saw a large drop of, once again, $40,000 to $50,000 in downtown Toronto. So shouldn't we see a drop in central Toronto, for instance, because downtown Toronto is part of central Toronto? Well, not according to the numbers, and this is something I touched on in my previous video a little bit as well. As we see when we look at central Toronto prices and on east and west, obviously, but let's start with central Toronto prices. We actually see an improvement of $4,000, where right now it's at $770 in terms of average sold price. And in May, so once again, a month over month analysis, we'll get to the year over year later, but in May it was at $766. So clearly the downtown Toronto core has weighed down the averages for the entirety of the city, especially central Toronto. And as a result, if we were to remove the downtown Toronto numbers, the average would be much higher. Actually, we would have seen a higher increase than $4,000, where at that point it wouldn't be a negligible amount, as is the case once again with $4,000. It would probably be in the double digits. To put it differently, the $4,000 increase can be a little bit misleading, because in reality, if we were to remove the downtown core numbers, it would show and reflect a much larger increase in terms of average price month over month. Now, looking at Toronto East and Toronto West, comparing these prices in June of 2021 to the condo prices for Toronto East and condo prices for Toronto West in May of 2021, we see it truly holding steady. These prices are not misleading. It's a difference of $2,000 in both cases. And we can truly say that the prices are just holding steady. There's nothing really dropping the averages or increasing the averages at a grand level. Now, what is most interesting is when we compare the prices of Toronto West, Toronto East, and Toronto Central, and we do a year over year as opposed to the month over month we did, where we compare it to, as we did earlier in the video with downtown prices, to June of 2020 as opposed to May of 2021. In all three regions, obviously, maybe not so obvious to you, but as I mostly projected last year, we see an increase of prices. And what is most noteworthy is that although once again all three main regions increased in price, what increased the most was Toronto West. Now, this is where we have to be careful of the year over year, because any perspective we look at numbers, we always have to make disclaimers, right? Because no perspective is perfect. In terms of the year over year, we have to truly understand where we were in the Toronto real estate market June of last year. Although the situation in terms of uncertainty and the novelty of what we were dealing with in terms of the worldwide event, and I hate that I have to speak in these code terms, but I hope you know what I'm referring to. The novelty and the uncertainty, although it was not as bad as it was when it initially started in March, May, April, the market was still impacted, where, June of last year all the way to November of 2020, really we saw a downtrend of the condo market, where in November it truly bottomed out. We have to understand that this June we were dealing with a slow yet enthusiastic market. After all, the rental market, once again, is evidence of this. The rental market last year, most landlords didn't know when they can evict or take on new tenants. That nothing really in that sense was clear. All in all, I would probably have to say, and this is according to the numbers and according to my own personal experience, at All in all, I would have to say, and this is based on the numbers plus my everyday professional experience as a real estate agent who works for sellers and buyers of condominiums, that right now for end users, it is a really good time to buy. For investors, it is still a good time to buy, however, not as much as end users, assuming you're putting down 20 to 30%. And for sellers, whether you're end users or investors, I would probably have to advise against you liquidating, once again, even from an investor's perspective or an end user's perspective. Everything else being equal, if you're not getting divorced, if you're not liquidating as an investor because you need the capital really bad for another investment, everything else being equal, I would have to probably advise against you selling. We are definitely looking at a much more moderate market than we were looking at with regards to Toronto condominiums in March, April, and a couple of weeks into May. Anyways, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty. As always, you can find my contact information in the description box with regards to my Gmail, my Instagram, and my office. Feel free to find me, get in touch with me if you have any further questions. Lastly, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Your support in that regard is always greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching and stay safe.